Good afternoon and welcome along to Meggetland. It is the second instalment of Sprint Series Rugby in the FOSROC competition this afternoon. Many spectators have been here since just before 3 o'clock to watch the 6th place playoff match, and that served up a cracker between Boroughmuir and Southern Knights, with Southern Knights level pegging into the final 15 minutes. Boroughmuir able to sneak it though in the last quarter with a try unconverted. 26-21 was the final score in that game, and that sets us up very nicely indeed. Tom Brown and myself will be bringing you live coverage of the fourth place match between Watsonians Rugby and Stirling Wolves, and in front of a healthy crowd as well, many of which, as I say, were spectators at the previous match. You can see now just down below us that the Stirling Wolves players stripped ready and onto the field of play. Watsonians will be about to take to the field as well. These players have been training on back pitches, readying themselves for this big game. And Tom, welcome along first of all. Thank you for your company this afternoon. We have to say that going back a few weeks to the 28th of April, these sides served up 10 tries between them, 5 apiece. Watsonians winning 38-29 would settle for something similar today.
Yeah, it could be. I think Watsonians are always a strong outfit. Stirling have come on leaps and bounds this season. They had a great result against Glasgow earlier on in the season, so they'll be looking to improve in this match against Watsonians.
So take a look then at the two lineups then this afternoon. First of all, Watsonians Rugby, and again that half-back partnership is going to be so important in terms of creativity. Jason Baggett, plenty of experience, played in Scotland now for the best part of a decade. A Wilkent face down in Melrose, but very well established in the Watsonians 10 jersey, alongside Hector Patterson at 9, and they're going to try and show the creativity that had them sitting in second place in the table going into the final round of regulation fixtures before they slipped down into the middle portion of the table. The Stirling Wolves side, Tom, you have to say again, they've got some power in that front row with Breeze, Kennedy and Norrie looking certainly to do battle this afternoon against Courtney, Davis and Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely, and just looking at the back line as well, Glenn Bryce coming back from a year in the States and then coming back and enjoying his rugby here in Scotland, and also Marcus Holden, just strong experience at 10 as always.
Watching on the Stirling Wolves side, of course, that second visit to Edinburgh in the best part of a week, having played last Saturday afternoon at Golden Acre, as Watsonians are on the charge at the moment. Neil Irvin Hess, another player very familiar to those following Melrose and the Southern Knights in his time in the Borders, number 8 for Watsonians this afternoon. Very well respected figure in that back row. Watsonians, of course, sprint winners a year ago in this fourth place playoff game. The ball through the hands of Baggett out towards the outside centre. Watsonians have got Berg and King in that midfield looking to link up, just on the edge of the 22. Mopped up there by Patterson to get himself involved. This afternoon, Patterson has it again on towards Baggett, just out the side door, coming in on the angle there. Ross McKnight into the 22, one-handed offload. That was a rather hopeful sort of pass there from Campbell Wilson. Use it. Stirling now a chance for them to clear the lines. Cal McGee looking for a little bit of movement. The scrum half goes in the second time. Squats down and then provides the exit from just that in goal area, Tom.
Yeah, just stayed in, and probably not to mention we're nice and sheltered here in the stand, but there is a bit of a wind. I was flying this morning. I can guarantee there is a strong breeze out there, so that ball looked like it was going well out, but just snuck out there, so need to be careful of that here at Meggetland.
Johnny Perriam is the man in the middle this afternoon for this third, fourth place playoff match. Cal Davis starting at hooker for Watsonians, an incredibly consistent player, certainly at this level, able to find Irvin Hess, although Hess was challenged in that line out. Patterson has it again, looking once more at the forwards. Harrison Courtney in that front row, up towards Patterson, finds Baggett. Coming in on the angle was Berg, forced backwards. Stirling is forcing the hand at the moment as McKnight appears across on that left hand side. Patterson again, almost finding Davis with the carry, but just inside of the hooker. Stripped there from the number 8 Benedict Grant, who had an excellent game at Golden Acre a week ago. Very hard working back row forward. Patterson, and go once again the Watsonians players in the stages of this one. No scoring. 26-21 in the earlier fixture, double header here at Meggetland. So value for money for those spectators. Johnny Perriam penalising Stirling Wolves, and an early penalty opportunity here for Watsonians, and Tom, they're going to go for the corner.
Yeah, just you can see early on just Watsonians are a well-drilled side. They're getting around the corner. You can see their structure already. A couple of big carries from McKnight and also Irvin Hess, two big rangy players. So a couple of nice offloads from the right winger in a couple of the plays before this one.
No huddles yet. Thank you.
Into the corner, into the 22. Cal Davis across on that far side with the throw. Looks to the blindside flanker, and Seb Cecils wins possession for Watsonians. At the heart of the defensive cover is the Stirling number 8 staying upright, Benedict Grant, but Watsonians creeping ever closer towards the line. Patterson makes himself available if required, the scrum half. Advantage with Watsonians at the moment as they're trying to apply some pressure, get their noses in front in the contest. The referee again penalising Stirling. These important moments for both these sides, Tom, as they try and settle into this playoff game.
Yeah, Watsonians have had a great start. As I say, you just see how well drilled they are. You've got to get your discipline right against them, otherwise they'll punish you in these set pieces.
Bang it into the corner. Cal Davis will be licking his lips at this opportunity. Like so many hookers these days, from situations like this, look for the catch and drive. And this time it's Kieran Watt that wins the ball in the line out. Cal Davis joining in, Patterson just in behind trying to direct operations as those Watsonians forwards 5 metres from the line. It's back now with Patterson. Bypass on towards Baggett, out towards the fullback, with an excellent piece of tackling there from Gregor Smith. And Stirling trying to force Watsonians wide. Watsonians still in possession of the ball. Taken on again, McKnight peeling away on that right hand side. Will they work it out? He's now got an outstretched left arm, pointing Patterson towards Davis, who carries.
No.
Patterson once more. On again to bypassing Kieran Watt, taking on the inside centre Scott Knight, and Watsonians powering towards the line. The referee just delaying the raised arm for a moment and signalling that after 5.5 minutes Watsonians find themselves in front. And Scott King was the player just across on that left hand side that had enough power and pace to finish off that move.
Yeah, a great bit of individual play there from the centre, but I was quite surprised Watsonians went to the backs quite early. It was a great read from Smith, the winger, the Stirling winger, to read that. I thought they might have got a turnover, but Watsonians showed good composure there to finish it off, and a good bit of skill.
Getting to just watch it again through the replay. One thing in King's mind when he received possession of the ball was to be very direct towards the line, and he had some pressure around about him.
If you keep it in,
he was able to fend off the defensive cover, closing in on him, and it provides Jason Baggett with this early conversion opportunity. 5-0 to Watsonians, first blood to them. It's effectively a home fixture for them at Meggetland, as they played so many of their sprint games here at Meggetland a year ago. The conversion attempt is good, and Tom, that's an excellent start from the Myerside club, leading 7-0.
Yeah, it just goes to show we've kind of mentioned it already, but just a really well structured, really well drilled side, and if you give them a sniff, then they're gonna take advantage of that. So a bit of ill discipline has given them an opportunity, but well worked, well finished try.
Yeah, just enough room to escape the attentions there of Glenn Bryce, who was coming across, but the fullback closed the door there. Neil Van Hess with the carry from the restart. Watsonians now suddenly looking for an opportunity to get back into Stirling territory, which they do. Carried very well indeed, those in the back row, Cecil, Wilson and Hess looking to do some damage, and Watsonians now between that 10 and 22. Stirling though come away with the ball after the referee had signalled the Watsonians penalty.
no, the ball was out. Timing was just
the
fine.
last Stirling player back to his feet. Tom, do they go for that sort of rat-a-tat-tat on the scoreboard with a penalty goal attempt here, or will they go for the corner and the jugular?
Looks like he's shaping to go to the corner. I thought with Baggett's boots it was a guaranteed 3 points, but really strong start from Watsonians, and Stirling just haven't quite found their gear yet. You know, they are the away side. They've had a little bit of travel, but yeah, definitely Watsonians the stronger and brighter in these early days.
Make sure everyone's from the back foot.
An excellent carry and run there from Seb Cecil, making a good 40-50 metres. He was looking left and right for an offload, but there was no immediate opportunity for him. A different line-out option there for Watsonians coming off as they go towards the front of the line, not the conventional throw towards the middle. And Watsonians now through Cal Davis once again, tackled by Grant. In goes Patterson, on then towards Baggett. He's got the midfield round about him now. Level a little pop pass on towards Patterson. Cecil was coming through there, and the referee has brandished a yellow card. So Stirling are finding this a difficult contest to really get a foothold into just at the moment, Tom.
Yeah, it must have been fairly obvious down on the pitch there, but obviously there was we saw the offload and then looked like a deliberate knock-on, but if that had gone into hand, it was a guaranteed try clearly, and Watsonians electing for the scrum. You know, the strong outfit, strong 8, so I'm not surprised that they've gone for this option.
Guys, we have to get someone on to replace that prop. Just let me know the number that's coming off, please.
Towards,
thanks.
we will make the way towards the corner, still deliberating over what to do as the change has been made there. The yellow card shown to Callum Norrie, and on comes
11.
Placement in the front row.
11.
So they'll have to rejig the 15 on the plate on the field at the moment, and sacrifice one of the backs, you'd imagine, in the next 10 minutes.
Slow and steady settle.
7 points to 0 then Watsonians lead. They've got this opportunity to further pressure on Stirling, as Stirling have lost the services temporarily of Gregor Smith. He's the player that has been sacrificed, while they have a full complement in that pack for this scrummage. Patterson with the put in. Tom Brown alongside the watching as Patterson feeds the ball in. Trying to score the winning 12 readies himself. Scott King has it now. On towards Baggett. Baggett's going for the corner. Baggett finds the space. Baggett touches down. Second score. 12-0 with the conversion to come, and simple as you like.
Yeah, Stirling were stretched there with a man down, but just a really well executed first phase move there. They've obviously been working on that one. I've been surprised, you know, Watsonians have a strong pack that could come around the corner and use that tight game, but they're electing to go a wee bit wider, so impressive. But Baggy's he's rangy and he's deceitful in his speed, so he's managed to get around there, but Stirling always under a lot of pressure there.
Stirling, of course, having just lost the services of Gregor Smith, the player they sacrificed, and Watsonians trying to work their way into that little bit extra space that otherwise would have been occupied by Smith had he been on the park. So Baggett then looking to add the extras from the tee.
Okay.
See the spectators on the banking just watching, looking down on Baggett as he lines up this conversion attempt. Many spectators stayed in the main stand for the third, fourth place playoff game. Of course, that's the last instalment in the Sprint Series, and Baggett looking to add to his own try. Here he goes then. Begins to drift well wide of that left-hand post. There's a little bit of sway in the post. There's a bit of breeze that, Tom, you referred to just at the start of commentary, and the ball was sort of caught up in that breeze and blown well wide of the posts. An unconverted try. 12 points to 0 though. A very productive start from Watsonians.
Yeah, Watsonians showing a bit of class there. Stirling have to be careful. I'd say they need to get next points on the board. Watsonians, you don't want them to run away with it, because they can sustain and they can manage the game very well.
Start kick. Stirling then looking to try and pick up that bobbling loose ball there. Mikey Hearn away after that. Marcus Holden in at half back this afternoon. He's very comfortable at 12 as well as 10. Inside centre last weekend.
Just make sure there's no pressure. There's a wee bit too much pressure coming in for a set. I'll speak to him as well. Should we be close maybe?
Precious little of any ball to speak of inside the Watsonians half, and we played now almost 12 minutes of the first half. So this is an attacking platform for McGee, this time in the opposition half of the field.
Yeah, it'll be good to see how Stirling Wolves react here. It's an opportunity to get the ball in hand. I think they just need to get through the phases, keep the possession, and get a good outcome from this phase.
Tries from Scott King then, and Jason Baggett in the early stages. Watsonians leading by 12 points to 0. McGee then into the scrum, came very deliberately, rolling it to the back of Benedict Grant's feet there, and Stirling gains some ground beyond the 10. Grant takes the pass from his scrum half and bundled to the ground. McGee in once more, looking for some power just to his right hand side.
The ball's there.
McGee again on towards Grant. Grant the no look pass. Holden on this time to Jardine who came off the bench last weekend. And it's on now through the hands of Grant. Holden, delicate kick, bounces once into touch and just forces Watsonians back on their heels.
Yeah, positive set there from Stirling Wolves. I think it's the first opportunity they've had with ball in hand, and a couple of players getting on the ball there, so that'll be good for their confidence.
Cal Davis this time.
Two man, guys, two calls.
Line out throw deep inside his own half of the field. Long loop throw finding Irvin Hess towards the back of a line that hadn't necessarily formed to a full straight line of players either side. Baggett's kick is charged down and then comes back off the fence just past that in-goal area.
No, it's taken back in by you. That's a scrum.
Though, looking to turn the screw at the moment. As you say, Tom, that the start they've made, I feel that the next score, even at this early stage of the game, is going to be very important.
Yeah, that's a really good outcome. To be honest, I had no idea that was going to be Stirling's ball in a 5-metre scrum. So really good work from the number 9 there. It's Cal McGee putting a lot of pressure on Baggett, making the most of that win. Maybe there was a little bit of time that Baggett kind of set up with that breeze, but really good pressure from the number 9.
McGee then looking towards Holden, who's just walking into position alongside Kate Jardine. McGee then into the scrum. Everybody towards his right hand side. Get again Benedict Grant on towards McGee. McGee devoured by Watsonians jerseys. Recycled ball then taken on by James Pow into contact, the lock forward. Recycled again through the hands of Grant. Trying to find the
just a knock on that one. Just a knock on, it's in the tackle.
Just trying to remain very tight defensively as Stirling again look to McGee for an out ball as Holden out there towards once more Jardine, who's occupying space out on that right hand side. Back it comes once more through the hands of Hamish Ferguson this time. Grant takes it from his scrum half. 1-2, and then bringing Rainer Kennedy into play. Comes now towards the open side flanker. And Conor Gordon, one of the vice captains. No look pass again from Holden, back in field. Still Stirling look to press and probe. And still the Watsonians defence remains resolute with the scoreline at 12 points to 0. 15 minutes of the first half gone as there's a few clouds overhead. The sun begins to burst through and it's a very pleasant spring-like Saturday early evening at Meggetland. Stirling, Tom, perhaps no surprise, looking for the next points in the game. They're opting to go for the post rather than the corner.
Yeah, good option. As we mentioned before, it was really important for Stirling Wolves to get the next points on the board. I think that was a really positive set coming from the scrum back on the halfway line, and a really smart putting that in the corner, or Marcus putting the ball in the corner and putting them under a bit of pressure. Really good defensive set from Watsonians. It was really interesting. Grant does a huge amount of work for the Wolves, but he's looking to move that ball and change the point of contact. So yeah, interesting.
Marcus Holden just one step back and a clean strike of the ball, no problems at all. And that's 3 points for Stirling, and they purposefully make their way back into their own half. So after a period of sustained pressure in and around that Watsonians 22, they come away with 3 points. Watsonians still find themselves in front by 12 points to 3. Ball back with Jason Baggett, who get this match going once more, and Stirling have time to gather and clear into touch there rather than run it through the hands. It's a touch finder. It's a Watsonians line out just outside the 22, perhaps passing the advantage back to the side in front.
Yeah, with 2.5 minutes to go on the yellow card as well. Bit of damage limitation, I suppose, for Stirling. So if they can hold out for these next 2 minutes to get their 15 men back in the park, that'll be a good result.
Cal Davis asking for a ball which is brought to him by one of the youngsters as it's on now towards the middle portion of the line. Picked up very quickly and on goes Stirling's back row forward, Callum Wilson, and some good work. And they come to close it off again. Knight on that right hand side, Irvin Hess into contact. Patterson has it now, again taken on by Davis. Davis then dropping, not the tallest of players, but just squatting down, goes into the challenge. Baggett has it, grubber from Baggett, just in behind that right hand side there. Logan Jarvie scampering after it, ball goes into touch. Stirling with the throw inside the 22. It's Watsonians then leading by 12 points to 3 with 17 and a half minutes on the clock.
Yeah, clever play there from Baggett, hopping them in the corner and putting the pressure on Stirling to exit, so all the pressure's back on them.
So 12 points to 3 as Stirling under a bit of pressure. Cal Davis latching onto the back of the line out there from a Stirling throw in, and taking on now, look forward, Kieran Watt under a bit of pressure in the challenge, but did well to take the ball into contact. Baggett then on in towards King, the 2 try scorers. King clawed to the ground there by his opposite number, Craig Jardine. Out to Baggett on the right hand side again. He felt he was sort of closed off there, coming round as well, and Stirling trying to find a way to wrestle back possession. Penalty though awarded to Watsonians by Johnny Perham, and they're in the top left hand corner of the screen, the scoreline with almost the opening quarter played. Watsonians 12, Stirling 3, and Stirling back to a full complement of players with the return of Callum Norrie, and of course they've got Gregor Smith back occupying that left wing position. So it's 15 aside once more in the sunshine at Meggetland.
Yeah, good for Stirling to get their 15 back in the field, but unfortunately you just got to get your drills right. That exit line out was key, so I would expect for Watsonians to capitalise on this opportunity.
Marius Tamasitas certainly enjoyed his 10 minutes on the pitch, broad smile on his face as he makes his way back to the front of the stand. Watsonians meanwhile on the front foot just now. Davis on towards Patterson, Patterson to the corner, Patterson's in for a score, a third try, and despite the best efforts there of Gregor Smith, he couldn't stop the scrum half from breaching that Stirling line once more, and Watsonians then move further ahead 17-3 with the kick to come, and almost exactly 20 minutes of the game played.
Yeah, kind of going back to Baggies, we dink in behind the defence when it just grubbled it into the 22 and put all the pressure back on Stirling Wolves, forcing the error, and then Watsonians picking up that ball, and ultimately a little bit of ill discipline again from Stirling's, giving Watsonians that opportunity to score their third try.
Yeah, Gregor Smith just couldn't get low enough there on Patterson as he angled the run towards the corner, and Baggett very carefully placing the ball on the tee.
Yeah, fine. Cool. Okay.
More of an angle here for him to just find that
Thoughts? 20 minutes
correct
now?
angle to add the extra 2 points. That cross breeze impacting his previous conversion attempt, but we'll see what he does with this one. Baggett then to increase Watsonians' lead.
Looks wide.
Again,
Looks
just
wide.
pulled that one to the left of that left-hand post, flings the tee away in frustration. It remains Watsonians 17, Stirling 3, but a bright start from Watsonians. And remember, we talked at the very beginning of the programme back to the 28th of April when both sides served up 5 tries apiece. Well, Watsonians have got 3 on the board just now and are in a commanding position, Tom.
Yeah, Stirling just got to be careful here. The good thing is that they got those points on the board. They did get those crucial 3 points, but I'd say they need to get the next points on the board again and get a little bit of shape and a little bit of possession back here.
Back really chasing the contest with a couple of converted tries separating the sides. Box kick then from Patterson. Benedict Grant wins the ball under some pressure there from the left winger, and there's Guthrie coming across. McGee in behind, looking for an outlet. George Breeze being one of them. Works its way to Mikey Horn outside centre. His tackle just done at 10.
Never supporting your weight.
McGee, Holden, Robert up towards the edge of that halfway line. The referee brings it back for that Stirling penalty after Holden's kick was immediately gathered by Watsonians' hands, so Holden will have the chance
Number 3.
from his own 10 to ping this back into Watsonians' territory. And it's about patient build-up play now for Stirling, but they really do need 7 points. Would certainly be much appreciated the way things have gone so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Stirling just need to get a little bit of a foothold in this game. Interesting to see where Marcus was there on the penalty, and he's still electing to go to that far side. Just goes to show how strong that wind is. But it's interesting as well. Grant's such a big figure in the Stirling team, and Watsonians have him well covered at the moment.
And a Kennedy's throw, won by Hamish Ferguson. On then towards the inside centre, Craig Jardine up towards the edge of the 22. McGee comes in behind, looking for an offload and finds it through James Poe. Lock forward, stopped just on the edge of the 22. Penalty awarded to Watsonians. And that was excellent closing off of that Stirling attack. There's no opportunity for Poe and Stirling to release possession. Baggett, grateful recipient of the ball. In the Megatland sunshine, it remains 17-3. Here once again the thoughts of Tom Brown.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think Stirling had something set move organised and planned there. I think they were just working through their phases. I think it was probably a 2-3 phase attack, and someone was missing their clear out there, so Davis was able to get over the ball. You give him an inch, then he's going to steal that ball very quickly, so you've got to be very sharp on it. So that's unfortunate for Stirling. It was an important set for them.
Yeah, there was an excellent 50-22 in the previous match between Boroughmuir and Southern Knights towards the end of the game, when Boroughmuir were playing in the direction Watsonians are at the moment, so that will be on the mind of Baggett, I'd imagine, given the power of his boot. But now they're going round at the corner, the two wingers trying to link up well, as Angus Guthrie on that left hand side, but the penalty awarded there to Stirling, because Stirling can do what Watsonians can as well. An isolated player in attack, in possession of the ball, closed off very quickly, and Stirling win the penalty this time on the edge of the 22.
That was good recovery there. It was Jardine with the scrappy turnover. But Watsonians were again a nice set piece move. I think Lewis Berg commands so much attention when he's carrying the ball. He's such a big figure, so managed to ship it out the back there and create a little bit of space for his winger. But well worked back from Stirling. And Berg was the closest player up in support, but there was no opportunity for Guthrie to feed Berg once again. Stirling on the front foot at the moment, but trailing by 17 points to 3. Holden down towards that 22, bounces rather awkwardly.
Reid is after it.
Stay! Don't move!
Brings it into the blue sky.
Yes.
McGee watches the ball in flight close towards the touchline. Holden back in field. Stirling again looking to try and gain something. Cal Davis with the challenge on the edge of the halfway line. McGee in behind. Almost a pod forming there just towards the left hand side of the scrum half. Now going to deliver perhaps a box kick from close towards halfway. Both sets of supporters a little bit more vocal now. McGee's kick in flight. Irvin Hess trying to read the flight of the ball there. Plays it off the inside of the left boot, but it comes back to Holden. Holden again with the cross field. This time Baggett's after it. Plenty of time for him to gather and clear it from the edge of that 22 downfield. Again, excellent kick. Shows that the distance you can get with the wind and the direction of the wind just now. Marcus Holden looks as if he's in a bit of discomfort sitting upright on the pitch, so he'll require a bit of treatment. Could well be a stoppage, but it's been quite a smooth opening 26 minutes of play. Very few interruptions to the match.
Yeah, there's a good bit of play there. Interesting to see. It was a bit of a territory battle there, but what was interesting, it was great to see Glenn Bryce getting his first attack and an opportunity and a counter there after an average kick from Watsonians, but you just see the line chase that Watsonians had. Even though they were under a bit of pressure, there's just no space for Brycey to go, and they gobbled them up pretty quickly. So just showing just how well drilled this Watsonian side is, and Stirling's still looking for a foothold in this match.
Stirling's Marcus Holden back to his feet now. He has that left thigh and left knee in particular quite heavily strapped, and I think he's sustained a knock there as James Crowes won the ball in the line for Stirling. McGee coming forward now to make himself available. Close towards the touchline by the 10. Grant takes it on. Solid Watsonians challenge as McGee comes in. The penalty though by awarded by Johnny Perry.
Hands up's not effort.
A chance again for Stirling to work their way back into Watsonians territory. 26 minutes on the clock, 17.
Putting the hands up isn't enough. Got to move.
Holden's kick. Coming
just on the edge of that line.
Back off the branches of the trees
edge of that one.
by the fence across on that far side. Down it comes. There is a strength in the wind, possibly best illustrated by how those trees opposite us are blowing quite aggressively just now. Grant wins the ball in the line. Stirling having executed the throw-in. Part of the attack, setting up this platform.
Okay, oh no, you've moved hands, you've moved.
At walking pace just now. In behind him, Rory Knott over the 10.
Stay back foot.
McGee now readies himself. He's able to bring Jardine into play. Holden bounces once, and then a second pass there as Gregor Smith, the outreached arms there and the fingertips couldn't quite bring the ball into the sort of midriff area. Knocked the ball forward, and a couple of rather loose passes there in that Stirling attack as there was almost a little bit of uncertainty as they worked it from the scrum half through the midfield.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was an opportunity there for Stirling just to put some phases together and get this foothold in the game. I know we mentioned the breeze, but I can, after playing here for a few seasons, I can guarantee that there's always seems to be a breeze going over to that far corner, and it always plays a bit of a factor here up at Megatland.
Thank you.
It's a bit like the northwest corner of Murrayfield when you come round from the north to that sort of westerly side. It doesn't matter how calm it is in the rest of the ground or the surrounding areas. That corner always seems to be very blowy, but there's a bit of a breeze just blowing along the gantry where we are positioned for this commentary this afternoon. Ball into the Watsonian scrum. Patterson just at the back of Irvin Hess finds Baggett delicate with the kick. Watsonian is looking to give chase there through Lewis Berg, but Stirling able to win clean ball. McGee, Holden.
No, he's fine.
Has the slightly unconventional pass there, and Norrie's after it. under a bit of pressure just on the edge of his own 22 as he had to scramble backwards to get possession.
He's tried to intercept it just really badly.
Play back for an earlier infringement.
It's a really bad intercept.
10-22.
It's very different.
And the sort of stop-start nature of the last couple of minutes continues as we close in on half an hour played. 17-3 to Watsonians.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at any opportunities that Stirling might have, and it was interesting just on that turnover. If Brycey just had his head up, there was a bit of space in the backfield, and looks like Watsonians do stack their front line, and they're leaving kind of one in the backfield there. So kind of looking at maybe tactics, actually putting a bit of pressure in Watsonians. They tend to front load their front line, but maybe there's a little bit of space available at the back.
Into the scrum by the feet of Grant. Maybe at the corner, penalty to Stirling, winning the penalty at the scrummage. Watsonians
can't play advantage because it went
all
down.
accepting the referee's decision as they make their way back. No signs of dissent certainly from the Edinburgh side, and Holden again plays this one. Plenty of height on that kick from Holden.
Go halfway for me, guys.
In terms of distance, that's pretty much plumb on halfway.
Yeah, I'd say it's really important here for Stirling Wolves just to get through a few phases and just, I was going to say, just play around in their own half, but Marcus not quite making the halfway line there. But really important just to hold on to ball here, get a little bit of possession, a little bit of territory, and just get a bit of confidence up here.
More certainty through the hands, as it was seemed a little high there on Grant. One or two spectators supporting Stirling a bit upset about that as they watch Holden ping that one down towards the corner on the edge of the 22, and that was a better execution from the boot there from Holden in terms of just getting Stirling that little bit further down the pitch. Watsonians though will ready themselves defensively on the edge of the 22, protecting two converted tries separating the sides. A 17-3 lead for Watsonians, and this was effectively a home game for them. Ball won by Keenwell in that line out with a distinctive red scrum cap. Patterson then under some pressure delivering the box kick. Grant is underneath that one, so too vice captain Connor Gordon. Patterson taken on this time by Harrison Courtney. Loose head brought Patterson in behind him. Here's Baggett. Changes direction back towards King. Both King and Baggett try scorers so far this afternoon. There's the halfway line with Carl Davis in possession and crosses into Stirling territory again. Patterson in behind. Harrison Courtney coming across. Just shoring things up for Watsonians. Deeper kick this time from Patterson. One there by Glenn Bryce. He's time to deliver a kick with a little bit of extra on it. Patterson wins it. This time it's Baggett. Up and just over halfway. Knocked up by Patterson. Tackle coming in there from Grant on Seb Cecil. Gaining some ground up towards the 10-metre line. Davis again. Going down, lowering the head. Grant in behind once more, getting about the park as Benedict Grant as Patterson takes it on. Very deliberate good step there from Callum Wilson in the back row for Watsonians. Baggett receiving it from Patterson on then towards the fullback Reid, who's up in support. Ball worked its way towards that left hand side, and then a little bit of uncertainty. Neil Irvin Hess was trying to receive the pass out on that left hand side, coming to him at a bit of pace, unable to take the ball into that gain into the chest area, knocking forward. Carl Davis down receiving some treatment. John Brown alongside me. 6.5 minutes to the break. 17-3 to Watsonians.
Yeah, that was a shame. It was a good good bit of play from Watsonians there. What I'd say is just kind of by looking at the way the game's going, it's Marcus put a good Holden put a good kick in behind, and put a bit of pressure on Watsonians, but Stirling just don't seem to be dealing with the kicking game as well. I think Watsonians are probably winning that kick battle at the moment, and ultimately winning that territory, but Stirling just need to get their basics right and get under the ball and win that possession back, and then just get into the Watsonians half a little bit more, and putting a little bit more pressure on them.
Sorry, your scrum.
Stevie Scott and Nicky Walker just sitting alongside us, watching the action in the the sunshine this early Saturday evening. FOSROC Sprint Series Rugby, the concluding part of this weekend of playoffs. Of course, we had the first, second place playoff over at Millbrae last night, and then 3 o'clock this afternoon was the match between Boroughmuir and Southern Knights, the 5th, 6th place playoff, and this the one in the middle, the meat in their sandwich with Watsonians. It's effectively a home game for them at Meggetland. 3rd place Watsonians against Stirling Wolves. 17-3 the scoreline, 2 Watsonians, and it's McGee. Grant at the back, Grant away, goes up and over halfway, Grant still is going on towards McGee then into the corner, but the referee will bring play back. And that was an excellent move really between the number 8 and the scrum half. At the base of the scrum, off he went, and we've watched him plenty defensive work by Benedict Grant so far this afternoon, but he does like these opportunities one-on-one, and he can show how powerful he is.
Yeah, we mentioned him a few times. Definitely a strength in the armoury of Stirling, and does a huge amount of work for Stirling. He's been passing the ball a little bit more, but just showing his running skills here as well.
Nice. Five's been put across and he's landed on top.
Johnny Perriam, match referee.
Across.
It's penalising Stirling, and Watsonians will have this opportunity from the boot of Jason Baggett to ping this one back into Stirling territory. Healthy lead with 5 minutes of the first half left to play, and that again a kick with some distance.
To me it's disrupted their setup
will
because
be
you landed on him.
retrieved at some point during the course of the 80 minutes. I'd imagine that's got up in some trees and hedgerows just across behind the fence over on that far side.
You guys on my mark,
Carl
please.
Davis is across and just looking for
on the mark, please.
a
And
ball
there's no ball,
to
so we just time off.
throw in at the line out. It's a slight delay in proceedings.
Time's off, don't worry, we're not wasting time.
The stand side over.
It's a bit of a shame. We've been talking about Stirling just trying to get a foothold in this game, but just silly mistakes and silly errors. You know, there's just so unnecessary to slap the ball down there, and on the halfway line, it's just giving a good opportunity, another opportunity to Watsonians. We know what they can do from here.
Hess once again winning possession in the line out. Again, that pass just going behind Hess from Patterson. Holden able to come onto it quite quickly and latch onto possession of the ball. McGee then in behind, and Stirling now just on that 15 channel outside of the 22 with McGee. The pass infield and taken on by Rainer Kennedy. McGee in behind.
Just stay, Five.
The scoreboard and clock in the ground not functioning just at the moment as they look to go aerial. High up and under there. Collision between the fullback Mark Reid and the halfback Jason Baggett. High half coming together. The consequence a knock on, and Stirling then will have possession of the ball close towards halfway. Slight misunderstanding there between the fly half and the fullback, I think.
Yeah, I thought it could have been a penalty there, but he's saying it was almost effectively a forward pass. The fullback handing it to Baggett when he was retreating back. But again, another opportunity for Stirling here. Just need to keep ball in hand or look for a little bit of space in the backfield there, just to put a bit of pressure on Watsonians.
McGee then readies himself to feed the ball into this scrummage. Johnny Perriam just mopping the sweat from his brow as McGee with Patterson just standing behind him. Another scrummage, another put in. This very quickly, I imagine will work its way back to Benedict Grant. And that's collapsed at the first attempt.
Don't start a problem now, just get
that wind certainly from our point of view becoming that little bit more noticeable. We can see the trees and the branches sway, but we get to feel it just blowing across our commentary position in the gantry, so it is bound to have an impact on the kickers down on the park.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said earlier on in the match, I can confirm I was flying this morning, and it's a bit of a bumpy landing coming in. So
turbulence.
A bit of turbulence. Yeah, no, it was. It was definitely breezy up in Perth today. Anyway.
And it goes. Almost stuck just by the feet there of Rory Knott. Out it comes though.
Thank you.
Midfield linking up well. Heron and Jardine across on that right hand side. Tried to get the ball out towards the right hand side, but again the move just breaking down as it worked its way through the hands of the midfield. They are holding very quickly out to the two centres, and then unable to get any further width on the ball and continue that meaningful attack. So it presents Watsonians with an opportunity, almost directly opposite our commentary position, with Carl Davis once more. Who's he going to go for in the line this time? Well, it's a slight interception there, but comes back on the Watsonian side. Baggett then on through the hands, another ball knocked forward this time. Peeling off his wing there was Angus Guthrie, and there's been a succession of handling errors in the last few minutes, and perhaps different reasons for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just mentioned the wind, but as a dry ball, you would expect these players at this level to be executing these skills, but Stirling, they got quite lucky there. I think the referee just called advantage over from the knock on that was from the line out, and they've managed to gain 20 yards or 10 yards just from that mistake there alone.
McGee just glancing across in the direction of Holden, maybe looking to feed an instruction over towards Marcus Holden, the skipper. Patterson with a little nudge on McGee. Benedict Grant controlling the ball with the feet, picked up by the number 8. Back in field he goes, and it's taken on there this time by Connor Gordon. And Watsonians penalised, the referee allowing a short period of extra play there before it comes back to Holden. He's immediately in position, and he'll ping this one down towards the corner. So we're closing in on the last play of the first half with a scoreline of Watsonians 17, Stirling 3.
Yeah, if Stirling can get something out of this play, it'll be great going into the sheds at half time. Look pretty out of it, but if they come in at 17-8 or 17-10 even, they're definitely in the game.
Leonard Kennedy then readies himself with the throw in towards the middle portion of the line. Kennedy will join in the drive. Stirling, the precious few opportunities like this in the first half. It's with Kennedy tucked under that left arm. Had an opportunity to glance up at what was in front of him as they cross that 5 metre line. They have the advantage just now, Stirling, and the ball's taken in, so he'll come back for the penalty as McGee ripping a few players out. The penalty now called by the referee after that driving ball was slowed up just beyond that 5 metre line. And Stirling certainly finishing the half with showing some promise here, but they'll want to take more than that into the dressing room at half time.
Yeah, absolutely, another big opportunity. That ball was going nowhere. It was right in the middle of that maul, and a couple of the Watsonians players caught on the wrong side, but Stirling really have to get something from this.
Kennedy again with the throw in. Coming forward there, James Poe. One again in the middle of that line out. Kennedy joins in once more. Kennedy has the ball, aiming towards that corner, raised down from the referee. Try for Stirling Wolves, and that was a try scored at a very important stage in the game, you have to say, practically on the half-time whistle, and that eats into Watsonians' advantage as we close in on the break. 17 points to 8. Here's a replay of the score. Raynor Kennedy in control of the ball there, was able just to peel away from the wall on that right hand side, in for the score. 17-8 with the kick to come, and you do certainly place a fair amount of importance on this conversion attempt, because if successful it brings it back to 7 right on half time.
Yeah, a bit of fortune there in the way of the Wolves. You'd think that they were going to go into half time at the 17-3 down, but really good opportunity. But 17-8, that's they'll be happy with that.
Holden for the extra 2 points. Looks pretty decent from here. It's straight and through. It was beginning to drift, but it was clean enough, and it just kept the direction long enough to cross the bar in between the sticks. and it means we're 17-10 at half-time. Watsonians with 3 tries on the board. Stirling striking back with a try practically on that half-time whistle, the conversion from Holden, and we have a game on our hands at half-time here at Meggetland. 3 tries to 1. Watsonians leading by 17 points to 10. Let's take a look back at some of these scores then during the first 40 minutes, and it was really all about the backs being very clinical. Here's an example in the early stages, peeling away from the defensive cover, Scott King, and he was not going to be denied there. The scrum half, McGee, coming in with the tackle, but it was all too little too late as King latching onto that pass, I think from Baggett, and just evading the Stirling defence.
Yeah, that was a really good finish. King just seeing the space there, good fend, and I've been surprised how often Watsonians have gone to the backs, and they've been really clinical.
And this was at a period when Stirling Wolves were down a man. They'd also lost the services of their left winger, Gregor Smith. There was a little bit more space on that left-hand side in the Stirling defence, and Jason Baggett taking full advantage. This time it was a role reversal with King feeding the fly half, and Baggett goes over to score.
Yeah, good combination there, but Stirling just needed to close that in, man down, but they needed to force that extra pass, but a good execution from Watsonians and good finish from Baggy.
Carl Davis on then towards Patterson, the scrum half. Patterson away from the desperate lunge there from Gregor Smith. Couldn't quite get low enough to really slow up Patterson. You can see he was just unable to get full arms wrapped round the waist. Patterson in for the third score. So at that stage, Watsonians, you felt, were in real command. Stirling then landing a penalty from Holden, made it 12-3. So at this stage it was 17 points to 3. But Rayner Kennedy and Stirling changing all of that with a well executed line out after a fairly sustained spell of pressure.
Yeah, it changes the game, this, and I suppose what Stirling can take a lot of confidence from is that they've been in the 22 twice and they've scored twice. They've had a penalty conversion and a try from two visits into the 22, so they can take a bit of confidence from that.
Yeah, a good return from that point of view. And there is a nice picture of a quiet half-time at Meggetland. Both teams in the changing rooms, spectators waiting on the second half, and the game, as you see, is finally poised. Watsonians leading by 17 points to 10 at the break. Stirling first out of the changing rooms. Marcus Holden sprinting onto the pitch, so he seems to have recovered from that knock that he sustained to the heavily strapped left knee in that first half. And Benedict Grant, broad smile on his face as Carl Davis leads Watsonians back onto the park for the start of the second half. 40 minutes then of this FOSROC Sprint Series 2023 to play, with this the last stage of the weekend of playoffs, the last portion of it, with the first second place match played last night through at Norbury, and of course just a little bit earlier on this afternoon we had the match between Boroughmuir and Southern Knights. Boroughmuir Bears winning that one by 26 points to 21. Marcus Holden then readies himself to get the second half underway. Johnny Perriam just works his way around the fly half there and gets this second half underway. Another girdle there on the edge of the 22, but Watsonians have secured clean ball for Patterson. Patterson back he goes to Baggett, one of the try scorers. Second of three Watsonians try scorers in the first half. Grant wins the ball and he's able to feed it to Glenn Bryce. Holden has it once more. A little bit uncertainty, but taken into contact there by Rory Knott. On through the hands again. Holden receiving it from his tight head. This time Mikey Heron. Inside centre up to halfway. McGee. Holden's going to go sort of over the top like a 7-iron on a windy day in the golf course. Just a full flight on the ball there. Baggett opting to go a little bit more aerial, and a decent boot he has on him, and that an indication of how powerful the kick is, as Watsonians, you felt maybe had some of the wind advantage in the first half, but he's got enough on that kick, Tom Brown, to take play down almost directly opposite our commentary point, just inside the Stirling half of the field, and it's the first set piece of the second half.
Yeah, Baggy is a classy player. He's got a great boot on him, and Holden, I think, went for the inside spiral right down the middle of the park, but quite effective because you've got to protect those touch lines. But Watsonians have the ball back, and another mistake from Stirling.
And Stirling a bit went with the throw in. Now coming on to at the rate of knots is Mikey Heron, and Watsonians there through Lewis Berg. They're taking the ball into contact. In behind him now, Baggett, and up towards the edge of the 22 with Hannison Courtney. Recycled ball, second row forward, loose ball. In possession of the ball as it's back now with Patterson. Baggett out towards that right hand side. Patterson in again. This time Neil Evan Hess up towards the edge of the 22, just in your picture. Baggett has it now. On goes Matt Wilson, tight head, Patterson, Baggett, bit of movement there, Berg, lovely ball infield towards Reid. The offload to Patterson, Patterson in for his second try of the game, a fourth for Watsonians, absolutely clinical through the hands. Great work from that Watsonians midfield, the platform set up for them by the forwards, and from the edge of the 22, that was an excellent phase of play there for the Watsonian side, now 22-10 in front.
Yeah, it's a shame from Stirling. I was about to say they had just had a good defensive set. They seem to be getting around the corner and setting really well, but there was a wee bite from one of the defensive players. I think Baggy taking it right up to the line, giving the ball in behind late, and it just created a bit of a gap on the inside. So well executed and well taken from Watsonians.
Jason Baggett then placing the ball on the tee.
Fine, that's fine. Cool.
We'll just take all duty and attention to land these extra points. Here he goes then. Short run up. 2 points added, and Watsonians then at the perfect start to the second period. Patterson's second try of the game. Watsonians have 4 on the board now. 24 points to 10 in front.
Yeah, similar to the start of the game. Stirling just a bit slow out the blocks, and it was interesting when the players were coming out, seeing the quality of the coaching staff coming up on both sides, and Duncan Hodge and Sean Kennedy for the Wolves. So I thought they could have sparked Stirling into life after their late try at the end of the first half, but that'll be a big blow to to Stirling.
Irvin Hess again very clinical in that restart, gather and drive outside of the 22. Watsonians heading themselves for another 40 into Stirling territory. Might come about courtesy of a box kick here from Patterson. What's the chase going to be like? Grant underneath that, fully committed. Coming towards him was Angus Guthrie, the left wing. Stirling have it now. On down towards Bryce. Bounces rather awkwardly for Holden. The referee, though, had eyes on a previous infringement. Will come back for Watsonians.
You know you don't have to do that.
Just infringing on that halfway line. And it provides Stirling with the opportunity from halfway to ping this one back down into Watsonians territory, and the sunshine at Meggetland with a scoreline of 24-10 in favour of Watsonians.
Yeah, I think you said a late shot there from number one, the prop for Watsonians, which obviously again wasn't very necessary. And it's a shame, he's missed touch there. A couple of errors creeping in the Stirling side early on in this second half, which is just going to give Watsonians opportunities, but that's a shame.
Yeah, Harrison Courtney, I think, was the player penalised, but just angles not quite right from a Stirling point of view, so it brings play back close towards the halfway line, just a fraction inside Stirling territory, as you see the panned out picture. Patterson then with this latest put in to the scrum. A little bit of action on the bench in terms of one or two players beginning to warm up and ready themselves. I'd imagine they'll come on at regular intervals during this second half. We did see Marius Tamasitas on, of course, in that first half after a yellow card was shown to one of the Stirling front row. Challenge coming in there on King. Grant this time wrapped round Neil Irvin Hess. Hess then on the edge of the 10, picked up by Patterson. Baggett, Guthrie on that right hand side wearing 11. Patterson once more, very quickly back to Baggett. Flat pass there, looking for loose ball. Patterson goes in again. Baggett is changing direction, pings it into the 22, bounces high, and better one for Glenn Bryce. And that is an excellent kick then from Bryce. Now that bounce could easily have gone towards the touchline and become a 50-22 there, but bouncing just a little bit too much strength on the kick, but very much dependent on that bounce there, Tom, because could easily have turned into a 50-22 throw-in situation for Stirling.
Yeah, that was really unlucky from Brycey there. There's definitely space there. He took the ball in the full. I thought Baggy found a little bit of space when he changed direction there, but Glenn Bryce was well across, and then good connection, and it was going over the head of Baggett in the retreating defence, and as you say, bouncing the ball unlucky.
On the verge, stay realistic.
Patterson, another attacking platform then for Watsonians. Patterson with 2 tries, one either side of half time. Jason Baggett, Scott King. King's the opening try of the game, a try also for Rainer Kennedy for Stirling coming on that half-time whistle. 17-10 it was at the break. Patterson, Baggett again looking for some movement, but Baggett's cut his way through that Stirling defence, in underneath the posts, and anything his scrum half partner Hector Patterson can do, Baggett can do likewise. That's a brace of tries for the Watsonians, 9 and 10, and that edges them further in front, 29 points to 10. Is that an assailable lead now? You have to say it's a tall order now for Stirling to claw this back.
Tough one to come back, and you see Baggy here just with a wee show and go. He's been pretty good today, just showing his experience and his command in that 10 shirt. But he's managed the game well, and he's a really threatening player. He can run, he can pass, he can kick. So great finish from Baggy.
Enjoying his time at this level. You'd have to say, I remember the first time I watched him, he was just trying to settle into life in the top level of amateur rugby with Melrose. Seems some years ago now, but he's sort of matured and developed and added a further 2 points to both his tally and Watsonians' tally this afternoon. 31 points to 10. Here it is again, absolutely clinical. Patterson then on towards Baggett. The wee show and go, as you mentioned, Tom. Clean pair of heels underneath the posts, and that's how to land 5 points.
Yeah, classic player, Baggy. I played with him at Edinburgh for many years, and he always worked incredibly hard. He never got that full cap for Edinburgh, but he's a top class player, and he's showing his experience in his class today.
Rory Knott was up to try and win that restart for Stirling, and they've taken play into the Watsonians 22, but the decision just going against them as the Watsonians defence remains resolute. And Raynor Kennedy just sort of flings the ball towards Hector Patterson. Patterson will look to Jason Baggett. The two half-backs then in conversation before this scrummage. Watsonians look for a clean exit first of all from the 22, but protecting now a sizable lead, 31 points to 10. It's worth pointing out as well that you mentioned a few of these Watsonians players a few times that you know pretty well. Your last outing would be, was it here against Watsonians, and a coming together with Lewis Berg that was a rather painful experience for you?
Yeah, it was. Last time I was on a rugby pitch and went for an attack on Lewis Berg and ended up rupturing my bicep, so I haven't played rugby since. I don't think I'll be playing rugby again, but it was he's a big boy, and as I say, he demands a lot of respect on that field, and he takes a lot of attention from the defence, so you can use him as a battering ram, but you can also use him as a classic player, but some big boys in that back line.
Certainly he's been involved in the build-up to a couple of the scores this afternoon with some good direct running and hard work. It's a attractive central midfield there for Watsonians with Scott King at inside and Lewis Berg outside centres. So on that, Stirling 10 with the nudge on. Side trailing by 31 points to 10. McGee getting ready himself. The ball worked its way back to the Stirling 9. Pings on with some height. Watched all the way there by Matt Reid. Now suddenly Watsonians are off and running once again, up and over halfway, over the 10-metre line. Gaining some ground once more, looking for reinforcements. Patterson coming in, Stirling looking for the turnover, and they've done very well indeed. As Holden on towards the lock forward, Hamish Ferguson. Back it comes to Holden through the hands, and this time taken on by Rory Knott up towards the edge of the 10. Stirling again regrouping and reorganising. McGee finds Knott, just bundled backwards there. McGee has time to launch it high, the box kick, Baggett underneath it, just on the fringes of the 22. Plenty of spin on that kick. Stirling are able to win the ball back close towards halfway. That was a decent take there from the left winger Gregor Smith. Now they're trying to build with Cal Davis in the way, and McGee looking for options. Holden bypassing the number 8 this time. Little misunderstanding there as Glenn Bryce sliding down to try and get the ball under control there, and it was just too sharp a pass to bring Logan Jarvie into play. Ball spilling out just below us. It remains Watsonians 31, Stirling 10. 13 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, I felt there was a couple of opportunities there when after the break, and good break from the fullback for Watsonians. I think that's Matt Reid showing a bit of pace, but kind of running away from his support, and good turnover from Brycey. But I feel like Stirling had an opportunity. If they looked up, there was two of the Watsonians front rowers side by side, but they seemed to go back against the grain and put the kick in. Again, Baggy, probably not his best kick, but just putting the pressure right back on Stirling, and Stirling just needs to get their skills up and stop these errors happening.
So some replacements for Stirling Wolves. Finn Burgess and Ian Sim both on the field of play. Ian Sim getting a run out this afternoon for Stirling Wolves. He's going to take up position across on that left hand side, and tucked in behind him Glenn Bryce inside that 22. So defensive work for these players with Finn Burgess and Ian Sim on the park. Holden watching on somewhat anxiously. Patterson into the scrum. Back it comes. Baggett just above head height. Guthrie off the wing. Patterson again. This is Irvin Hess. Still he's going. Tackled by his opposite number, Benedict Grant. Patterson picks up. Patterson still he's going. On for a hat-trick of tries. Watsonians with Baggett inside that 22. Patterson. Back it comes through the lot forwards. On now to Carl Davis, whose ball was involved in the action there in that second row. Watsonians have also made a change. Johnny Morris is on for the closing stages of this one. And he was the player in contact here. Watsonians winning the penalty on the Stirling 22. Another chance for them to try and turn the screw against the Stirling side chasing this contest. 31-10 the scoreline. 14 minutes of the second half gone.
7.
Ian Sims, a Super 6 FOSROC player that has played for a few clubs now, and well known down of course in the borders. As Watsonians going towards the corner there, have they just about run out of room? The referee saying they've been held up across on that right hand side. Ross McKnight was very quick to latch onto that ball and tried to scamper away from the Stirling defensive cover. We'll get to see this again, Tom, as he was almost round the corner, but he just had one too many players to try and evade there. And Glenn Bryce doing enough just to nullify that latest Watsonians charge.
Yeah, he did all the hard work and he just needed to dive at Bryce's feet, but he seemed to kind of go onto his knees, and Bryce was able to cradle him and keep him up. But good bit of play there. Again, I don't know, I think it was Jason Baggett or maybe it was Patterson who made the quick decision to tap and go wide whilst Stirling had their backs turned. But yeah, again, it just goes to show the sharpness of Watsonians at the moment, and they're just maybe their concentration levels are just on Watsonians' side at the moment.
Goal line dropout gathered. Eventually works his way to Guthrie. This is Patterson. On again, Baggett. Davis still going. Davis into the 22. One-handed offload towards Patterson. Patterson 5 metres from the line. Reinforcements then coming in. Watsonians now looking at options there, taken on there by Johnny Morris just off the bench. Watsonians then pressing and probing and looking for an opportunity for yet another score, leading by 31 points to 10. 16 minutes of the second half gone, camped practically on that Stirling line. Baggett has it again, on towards King, the opening Watsonians try scorer, takes it into contact, so close to that line. Watching on a clutch of Watsonians players as the referee has that arm raised once more, and Watsonians, there's something almost inevitable about them being able to find another way to cross that Stirling line and add to their points tally.
Yeah, they're impressive to watch. Watsonians, once they get into their stride, you can really see from up here. You can see their structure. They're unpredictable. They work hard. They get around the corner. They work in pairs and in threes in that pack. And then when their backs get the ball, they're decisive and they're accurate. And they really change that point of contact up. And it just goes to show the professionalism within Watsonians. There's a couple of players who've played here a long time, and they really gel. So it's good to watch, and very much in authority at the moment.
So Baggett then readies himself for another conversion as some further changes about to be made. Jake Spurway just adjusting his scrum cap strapping there just around the chin, readying himself to come on. Baggett meanwhile looking to add the extra 2 points by 2 tries himself, 2 as well for Patterson. Baggett sailing over the bar, no problems at all. Another 2 points for Baggett. Quite an emphatic afternoon for him and Watsonians. Yes, 2 for Baggett, 2 for Patterson. Scott King opening the scoring for Watsonians. Seb Cecil, incidentally, the try scorer. You see the pick and the drive there from close quarters. King involved in the action once more, but Cecil, the blindside flanker, landing the latest score. Stirling getting a try themselves through Rainer Kennedy, their skipper, on the half-time whistle to bring it back to 17 points to 10. Really not just down below us, trudging up those steps, with the action continuing to rage on the park just now. Stirling will become increasingly frustrated as Watsonians again forcing them back. Patterson, the player, is down. Watsonians player looking to receive a bit of treatment. It's Neil Irvin Hess, and it's 38 points to 10, so 6 tries to 1 at the moment, an illustration of just how dominant Watsonians have been for much of the game.
Yeah, we're just talking about those errors and ill discipline from Stirling. I've been really impressed with Neil Irvin Hess today, receiving a bit of treatment, but it's been a really good battle between Irvin Hess and Grant, 2 big number 8s, different shapes I'd say, but obviously 2 big ball carriers. Irvin Hess being a bit more rangy, but it's carried well, and he's really physical as well. So yeah, hopefully there's we'll get a little bit of continuity here, and it'll be interesting to see what Watsonians do, whether they elect to play a little bit or whether they go for territory with such a demanding lead.
Another word on Ian Sim. He was on the left wing for Edinburgh last weekend against Glasgow in the Inter-District Championship. It was played at Braidholme. The matches involving Caledonian Reds, of course, defeated the South, and also the Edinburgh-Glasgow game was played last Sunday afternoon. Patterson, this is Baggett. Watsonians again giving chase there. Berg was the most offensive runner, as it's taken on by the fullback Glenn Bryce, doing well. Stirling though, flattened just on halfway. Back it comes, being stripped. Watsonians have it again. Morris out then towards Berg. Rumbles a kick into that 22, and that's going to trundle into touch, and that's an excellent outcome from Watsonians' point of view, because Lewis Berg there found some space to perhaps see this again, as there was some uncertainty over how Stirling Wolves were trying to defend this situation.
Yeah, obviously Berg again just showing his quality. He's a big player, he's a big ball carrier, really effective. He can move the ball around, but there's a very skillful kick and a good rugby brain on him there to spot the space and to get that 50-22.
From the line out then created courtesy of that 50-22, and it's in once more. Patterson, Holden with the slow up challenge. Patterson again, and he goes. This is Cal Davis on the 5, played on once more. Kieran Watt looking to be a real nuisance in that Stirling 22. Watsonians leading by 6 tries to 1. Seb Cecil, the latest try scorer. Again, he's got King supporting him, the inside centre. Mopped up and taken on by loose ball. Patterson once more. This is Johnny Morris, tackled there by Benedict Grant. Patterson, second glance towards that right hand side. Cecil, Davis in behind. Baggett, King, back in field to Guthrie. Work it through Patterson again, on towards King, running into contact, and once more Watsonians just at the moment very assured through the hands. They want an end product once more. They'll look for a 7th try in the game. Comes once more to Cecil, almost lands at the feet of Grant. Ball goes loose. Stirling should be able to mop up, and away they go, but half through there was Craig Jardine. No immediate opportunity for him to escape outside the 22, but Stirling still have possession of the ball. Into the closing quarter of the game, Watsonians well in command. Delicate chip there from Marcus Holden. The stop and check from Guthrie. The tackle made though by Bryce. On that left hand side, Patterson. Davis. That's the 22. Patterson out in once more. Baggett again finding men. Centre field near that 22. Remember, it was 38-29 when the sides met at the end of April. Serving up another entertaining contest, a little bit more one-sided on this occasion. Again, they look to try and pick up through Tamasitas, but the penalty awarded by Johnny Perham, the referee. No end product from Watsonians on this occasion, but they're certainly playing some attractive stuff through the hands inside the Stirling half of the field.
Yeah, they did well to get the penalty there and to clear their lines, but it just goes to show there's a big factor in this game has just been the battle between the tens and the territory game. I think the kicking battle. I think Watsonians have definitely won that one today. A couple of the kicks just not being as effective from Stirling and not as tactical, but another opportunity here. They can still build on their performance, and it's only the sprint, so they want to build on the main competition later on in the season.
Adam Woodall's on for George Breeze. Johnny Morris certainly takes a sore one as the ball works out towards Baggett. King out to the right hand side, up and beyond the 10. Morris again. Baggett, flatter pass, taken on by Cecil. Works its way out once more and on towards Baird. There's an illustration of his power and acceleration. Just goes a little loose and gets a little bit scrappy and untidy. But again, Baird coming onto that ball at a rate of knots. There was no end product there, and the ball was then making its way out towards the Watsonians number 8, Nilervin Hess. But no chance for the number 8 to take it down that left hand channel. Again, threatening play from a side that's well on top in this game.
Yeah, really effective and really threatening play. Watsonians, every time they get the ball now, they seem to be making 10-20 yards just from their carries, and really slick play and backs and forwards all merging together to make a really effective attack. So just really nice to watch.
Wins so far this weekend, this playoff weekend for Bulls on Friday night. Two very lengthy injury delays in that match against Heriots. But Ayrshire Bulls winning the contest to win the overall championship. Of course, the Watsonians were the inaugural sprint winners a year ago. A little bit earlier on this afternoon, Boroughmuir Bears winning a closely fought contest with the Southern Knights in the 5th, 6th place playoff match. This game, though, is under the control of Watsonians just now as Benedict Grant takes the ball up towards that 10-metre line. In behind is Finn Burgess, looking to really make himself a busy character in the closing stages. Burgess then up and is tackled. And back it comes to Marcus Holden through the hands of the forwards. Tamasitas is floored. Burgess, Grant, Holden stops, checks, runs into Carl Davis. Davis flat his back, but is able to slow up that Stirling attack. Coming in very quickly to close the doors, Kieran Watt as well, the lock forward. Box kick from McGee. Watsonians players give chase, and they're able to win that lateral run there from Guthrie off his wing. Good referee though, as it's taken on there by Finn Burgess, another player who came off the bench against Heriots last weekend. Burgess looking to get in, continue his involvement in the game as Holden then with a little pass on there towards Adam Wood, latest Stirling player off the bench. Back it comes to Logan Jarvie. Jarvie pinged the ball into some open space. Watsonians having knocked the ball forward, presenting Stirling with this opportunity close to halfway. Another occasion where Carl Davis is down on his haunches, receiving a bit of treatment to that left knee. Some spray being applied, and there'll be some tired players out there now with 14 minutes of the game left, Tom. Yeah, definitely, and just at the end of this sprint season as well. It is a sprint, and it's a short season, but it's a physical competition, and these guys will be looking forward to a little bit of a rest before starting in the main competition.
in a few months' time. But that was an interesting bit of play. I think it went back and forth between Davis and Holden about 2 or 3 times before Holden ended up coming away with the ball. But again, just getting a little bit scrappy. But Watsonians showing their physicality, not just in attack but in defence as well, and making it difficult for Stirling Wolves.
Finlay Thompson is on the field of play for Watsonians, replacing Scott King. King with the opening try inside the first 6-7 minutes of the game. Kieran Watt is able to continue as well, having received a little bit of treatment. The referee has the clock back running once more, and we've got now 13 minutes of this match more or less left to play.
King had a good game. It was nice to watch King play. I thought he was class today. So he'll be a well-deserved break from him, and he'll be looking forward to a bit of time off, and looking forward to the competition in a few months.
Watsonians will be in some ways maybe disappointed to find themselves in this fixture when they were occupying second place going into the table last weekend themselves, and near at the top of the table. It's Stirling trying to make some ground down their left hand side, but it wasn't to be another coming together of Watsonians and the Ayrshire Bulls on this occasion. So last year's Sprint Series winners and overall winners are on the defensive just now as the giant figure of Adam Wood gaining some ground for Stirling. Holden has it again. The Ayrshire Bulls winning the first title of the season, as Burgess again finding Stirling jerseys. Holden helping the ball forward to still on halfway central, picked up again by Tamasitas. Burgess, back it goes to Ferguson, isn't quite sure but made certain. Bryce has it now, tries to dance and weave his way away from Watsonians jerseys, escaped 3. Burgess with the little grubber kick. That is a decent effort, Tom, into the 22, just trying to continue to apply some pressure inside the final 12 minutes.
Yeah, they just needed to settle it down there, so it was a really good decision. I think the difference between the two sides, you could just see the accuracy there, and it was nice to see Stirling go through a few phases, but just a couple of those passes just going in behind or just above the heads of some of those players, whereas Watsonians seem to be a lot more clinical in their skills, and and they're really able to come onto that ball. So just a little bit of work there on the accuracy, but as I say, a good decision for the number 9 there, putting the ball in behind and taking away from the strength of the Watsonians defence.
Craig Davidson has come on. Well, I can see another couple of changes as well. Ben Riley, I think, is also on for Watsonians. So too Jamie Beresford.
You boys here. Just hold on.
Watsonians making at least 3 changes there in the last few seconds. I've made a change to hooker as well, just get confirmation of that. As I think he's on now at 2 for Watsonians. Back it comes then to the men in blue. Been a dominant performance from them this afternoon. And again they're looking to clear from the edge of their own 22. The box kick from Murray Scott. Another replacement. Guthrie looking to win the ball. The back facing the post is attacking. Evan Hess bundling players out the way. Watsonians again trying to work it up towards that 10-metre line. Good play once more from the replacement hooker, and on again through the hands of Murray Scott. In the sunshine at Meggetland, Watsonians. Again it's taken on by Scott, rattling every opportunity. Baggett looking for a little bit of movement. In goes Irvin Hess. Round the corner comes Murray Scott. Scott appealing. Johnny Perry saying the ball is available there to play. Scott goes in. Gumpfield or something's gone flying there. Scott launches one forward. Stirling played off the side of the boot there from the right winger Logan Jarvie. He was after that one, but so too Ben Riley, and Riley just trying to put the afterburners on there, but it's back on that Stirling side, over on the left hand channel. 10 minutes to go, 38 points to 10, and you can see Watsonians' intention there. We're trying to draw in some of the Stirling players, but that was a decent bit of football, it has to be said, from Logan Jarvie, and he was often scampering after that ball that came off the side of his boot there, but ultimately it was Ben Riley's.
We're playing on, I know number 8's down, but we're playing on.
Number 19, number 23, Ben Riley.
Baggett on halfway. Scott back in field. Watsonians again. Murray Scott has it now, looking for options. Deft of hand there. Loose ball. He's forced backwards. Scott though. Baggett. 4 on this left hand side. One of them is the ball carrier Finlay Thompson. Scott once again. Squat figure. Little in comparison to some of the giants on the park, certainly, as Baggett has it now. Hoists it high. Caught in the wind perhaps as it's spinning, but inviting the collision between the two sets of players. Holden again on that 10 metre line. Loopier pass then. He has Glenn Bryce at fullback as the option. Adam Wood able to feed the ball on there. Not a clean exit from Mikey Heron at outside centre, but it eventually comes to Jarvie on this right hand side. Mopped up, and Grant has it again. Beyond the 10 metre line, up towards halfway. Frustration on the face there of Finlay Burgess, who wants to get on with things. Finds Holden, who in turn finds Bryce. Bryce up towards the halfway line. Still is going. Tries to play the ball on the deck. Picked up then by Finn Burgess, who makes himself busy. Tamasitas now flings the pass out towards the right hand side. Jarvie on a run. Jarvie, the chip and chase. Jarvie, can he finish it off in goal area? Perhaps not quite big enough there. He glances to the heavens. Much better from Stirling there as they tried to play that attacking, flowing brand of go forward rugby, but there was no end product here. But no question about the effort and the application on that particular occasion to form a decent attack.
Yeah, that was good from Stirling. I think one of the few times in this game where we've seen a bit of ball retention from the Wolves, and it just goes to show you just need to break down a defence like Watsonians are so well organised and so well drilled. You know, you're not going to get through them in one or two phases. You need to be building those phases up there. It's nice to see Glenn Bryce get on the ball a little bit. You can see he's a dangerous player, and he's a jinky player, and every time he seems to get the ball he's making 5-10 yards, so good to see him getting on ball a little bit more now.
Ian Sim gathering the up and under up towards the edge of the 22, and Stirling have it again through Holden. Bryce just on the angle, taken into contact there by Mikey Hearn, bundled backwards. Burgess goes in, makes himself busy, and again Stirling trying to find a way through. Burgess, Watsonians, back they go as Stirling will have the decision, and Holden goes towards the corner, so it will be a throw in to Stirling, and we have now 6 minutes of the game left to play, and Watsonians heading for another victory and a bittersweet end to the season. They'd want to be in that top 2 playoff last night, but they've been too strong this afternoon for Stirling Wolves in this 3rd, 4th place playoff game. Thrown in towards the middle of that Stirling line. Rainer Kennedy, the Stirling try scorer, joins in the drive. Burgess behind him. Can see that Marcus Tamasitas almost becoming upright. Adam Wood with that big bushy beard right in the heart of the drive as well. Stirling still they're going. Grant towards the front of it, getting closer towards the line. A heap of bodies are going to just crumble over the line. The referee has a good long hard look, and that was forward dominance and power there for Stirling, and really a deserved reward for a good piece of enterprising play a little bit earlier on. and then they awarded the penalty, went to the corner, Tom, and that's a very good outcome, even at this stage in the game.
Yeah, they'll take a lot from that. We spoke about it. Obviously, this is the sprint. Watsonians will be disappointed that they're competing in this third, fourth playoff, but there's they're only halfway through a long season. So Stirling had the chance to put their head down when they were looking at 38. What would it have been? 38-10 down, but. To take a little bit of confidence going into that main championship, it's good that they can rally on and take something from this game. So still a long season to go. So they'll be looking ahead to the championship coming up.
Confirmation of the try scorer, Jake Spurway.
Final substitution from Stirling Wolves. Leaving the field number 2, Rainer Kennedy.
So Rainer Kennedy has made way, and Archie Faulkner coming on for the final couple of minutes of this one. Jason Baggett then will get the match restarted. 38 points to 15 the scoreline, and a final fling perhaps for Stirling. Bryce takes a sore one there in the challenge. Benedict Grant again, happy to take the ball into contact. Another penalty awarded to Stirling. Backpedaling, and Watsonians players Holden immediately looking to work this one into the corner, and down it will go. Well, certainly down beyond that 10 metre line towards the 22, but not a touch finder. Baggett has it, able to ping this one downfield. Holden should gather in the 22 and does. This is Bryce, that's delicate, running into one of the back row forwards. Watsonians players. I think Seb Cecil was the player that was just in the way there, but it's back now on the Watsonian side, taken into contact by Tom Smith, rather by Jamie Beresford, who's blocked there by Smith, I think, as it comes back now. Ian Sim has it on this left hand side. Sim running into his opposite number, Ben Riley. The two 23s coming together. This time Jake Spurway, the second Stirling try scorer, into contact. Tamasitas now carries forward towards the 10. McGee, Holden, and just under the legs and through the hands there of Benedict Grant, who was cutting a fine line on Hamish Ferguson goes, as it comes back now, and Stirling once again looking to gain some ground. This time Bryce mopping up. Holden, Grant's found some space this time. Grant now accelerating away. Tackle comes in there and is made by Murray Scott, the replacement scrum half, up into the 22. Bryce over the ball at the moment, and the referee, is he going to go to his pocket? Yeah, does brandish a yellow card. And maybe one or two tempers beginning to fray just a little bit, and I think it's Jason Baggett who's been shown the yellow just for an infringement, and he's just adjusting his socks as he makes his way across. As it's now Glenn Bryce over to Ian Sim. Ian Sim now, still is going, a powerful player across on that left hand side, a powerful man to have on a wing, bundled into touch, and it remains 38 points to 15, a minute of the match left to play, and a minute where Watsonians will be without Jason Baggett. Baggett with that yellow card. Watsonians will throw the ball into towards the line there. It looks as if the ball was won by Jamie Beresford. Tom, your overall thoughts on this afternoon and the performance of both these sides? Watsonians starting so well with that king score and really punishing Stirling when they were down a man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just goes to show I think Watsonians were just mentally maybe on it a little bit as well. They had a really strong start, and they've looked really professional and really sharp from the beginning. Some noticeable performers as well in Watsonians and Stirling, but definitely that a good break from from Benedict Grant in that last phase of play. A brilliant line to break the defence, and just a little bit of composure needed from Stirling there. They went for the quick tap, but again, some people would say it's boring rugby, but I think an option just to slow it down, put it in the corner, and their driving maul's been so effective this today. So it's a shame that they didn't get that, but unfortunately didn't come to anything there.
And the referee then blows for full time as Watsonians were down a man towards the end, and Stirling certainly doing extremely well in the closing stages. I have to say that there was plenty of players out there that were in contention for player of the match. I think we're going with Neil Irvin Hess though in the end, who put in a really solid 80 minutes. Wasn't on the score sheet, but was certainly heavily involved in opportunities for the side to score tries. Let's have a quick look at the opening score of the game then. Baggett with the pass, having received the ball initially from Patterson, feeding the ball out towards King, and King with the determination was able to get through a clutch of Stirling players. King this time feeding Baggett. Now remember, at this stage Stirling were down a man. They'd lost the services of their left winger Gregor Smith, as he was sacrificed because of a yellow card in the forwards. And this, Tom, this was the third try, Patterson's first of the game, and again he just got round Gregor Smith there with some ease. You could see Smith would be disappointed with that.
Yeah, Patterson was a good game from Patterson as well. You were talking about man of the match, but going to Irvin Hess for his dedication and his hard work. But Patterson was all over the park today and had a great game.
Yeah, Patterson and Baggett both scoring 2 tries apiece. This was Patterson's second, practically underneath those posts to make it easier for Baggett. And again, just simple as you like, being able to finish off a clinical move. And you're always a grateful recipient when you get the ball so close towards the try line, and simplest of tasks to finish things off. Baggett then receiving the ball here, look, show and go, cutting through the Stirling defence. Another score. They were mounting up at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the one that probably sealed it for Watsonians. Similar to the first half, slow start from Stirling after they came out of the dugout, but Jason Baggett showing his class. He was fantastic all day, not just in his running skills but his kicking and management of the game. So very very good game from Jason.
And Seb Cecil also on the score sheet, crashing over from close range. And by this stage in the game, Watsonians had mounted well beyond the 30 points.
I thought Seb really came into his own, especially in that second half. Seb Cecil just showing his power when Watsonians got into that 22. He was obviously hungry to get on ball and to show his physicality. So another good game, another good performance.
And Jake Spurway on the score sheet towards the end of the fixture as well for Stirling. A consolation score, but it was appreciated by the Stirling faithful, who made their way down to Meggetland there then as confirmation of the final score. Watsonians Rugby 38, Stirling Wolves 15. So another high scoring match between these two sides. Watsonians just on this occasion too strong for Stirling, who've certainly shown signs of improvement during this sprint series, and that's only going to bode well for them as they work their way through the summer for the start of the main competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of pointed it out before, but that really good result against Glasgow A, a really strong Glasgow A side, and they're going to take a lot of confidence from that. But I think this game was third, fourth playoffs was definitely a focus on what's to come. A bit of a nothing match in terms of, but they can build a bit and look ahead to the championship now.
Yeah, of course, that will be coming up a little bit later on in the year. Watsonians had a very successful 2022, not only in the sprint series but the overall championship. But watching the presentation last night, knowing they were not involved in the second place playoff match, they wanted to finish the sprint season on a high, and they have won this FOSROC Sprint third, fourth place playoff match. in quite emphatic style. 38 points to 15, but that important consolation score will certainly have lifted the spirits to some degree of a Stirling side who know that they've got the qualities in the camp, the 29, to really contest going forward into the latter half of the summer and early autumn when the competition resumes. Well done as well to our player of the match, Neil Irvin Hess, for picking up that honour this afternoon, and congratulations again to Watsonians for winning this one. We thank you for joining us for coverage from Meggetland. A reminder, Boroughmuir Bears were successful in the sixth place playoff match, defeating Southern Knights by 26 points to 21 in the 3 o'clock game. But it's their near neighbours Watsonians who will be celebrating success in winning this third, fourth place playoff, defeating Stirling Wolves by 38 points to 15.